and welcome to my video today. I am so excited that you're joining me. This is a little bit of a different video for me. I am doing a process style video where you're seeing me work on a project and I'm doing a voiceover. So bear with me as I venture into doing this a little bit different. I wanted to participate in this really cool thing that I saw from a couple people that I follow in the scrapbooking world, and that is the Story Kit Crush. And I love this idea. So for a long time now, I have been getting Ali Edwards' story kit and her stamp kit, and I absolutely love them and I use them, but I don't always use enough of them, right? I get the product and then I'm not sure what to do with it, or I feel like I don't have time. And so this idea of taking a kit and focusing on it and crushing it and using all the product sounded like so much fun. So I'm joining in with the watch kit, and that's what you see spread all over my desk. All the links to all of the information for the product I'm using and the items that I'm using, you'll be able to find on my website, and I'll leave a link for that down below. So I'm using the watch kit, and so I'm using the embellishments, and then I'm also using the stamp. And then I also got this week the Cricut Joy, which is the brand new mini Cricut machine. I have not been into die cut machines in a very long time, and so I plan on talking about that a little bit later, but I did use that Cricut Joy to cut out a die cut that I use in this layout. So here, all I've done is I've started with a piece of white cardstock. I'm using Whisper White from Stampin' Up, and I cut that at 9 by 12. This is going to be an insert in my Project Life album, and oftentimes I do that in a smaller size than 12 by 12. So I'm doing that in 9 by 12, and then I added some designer paper. This is just a 6 by 6 paper pad that I've had for a long time. I have no idea where I picked it up at. I picked that blue piece out, and then I did that on a diagonal across the Whisper White. And then I have printed out several of the shows on this side, on this first side. These are several shows that my husband and I watch. Last Man Standing is something our whole family watches, but the other three are shows my husband and I watch. And so here I'm just putting all the pieces down where I think they're gonna go. So I've printed out the shows. I have matted them with basic black cardstock, and then I'm using the watch acrylic title, and then the TV that is above watch is the die cut that I cut out. It's from the stamp set, and then I just used that to die cut on the Cricut Joy, and I cut it out. So I cut it out in two different sizes. I thought I might use the larger size, but I decided to use the smaller size. And so here you can see I'm just attaching everything down. I absolutely loved cutting this piece on the Cricut Joy and using the stamp set like that. I love Ali's stamp sets, and they are amazing. The images are amazing, and then a lot of times I love her titles. And so having the Cricut Joy and having it so easy to be able to cut these things out, I think is going to make a huge difference, and I'm going to be able to use these products that I get even more. So this side is going to be really simple, and this is going to be the basic design. I'm going to do a couple things with the embellishments. The thing with the embellishments is the Project Life cards and then the embellishments that you see here, they always have a color scheme. And what I realized is that this colors of this kit didn't really go with the blue that I had chose. And then also there's a lot of prompts in this kit about, not necessarily about watching shows. Like there's a couple, there's that binge watch and this episode, but they didn't really match my layout, and I'm a matchy kind of girl. So what I realized is there were some other prompts about different ways you can use the prompt watch. And so here I'm just kind of fiddling around trying to figure out what I want to do. There were these plastic strips, which I loved, that were centered around watching things. And so one says streaming, watching, favorite, Binging, I think, is one of them, and then Currently. And originally I was going to put them on white cardstock and kind of back them so you could see the words better, but then I realized I had a white background, so it didn't really work. So I just went ahead and attached these with adhesive right to my designer paper there. You can't see it perfectly. It shows up a little bit better in person. But I did like the way that this stacked. I really like stacking sentiments like this, and this was really perfect for that. And then I added the chipboard circle that says watching on demand, which is pretty fitting because pretty much all of these shows we watch on demand, right? So I just thought that was pretty fitting. So I just stack these. I'm just using a running adhesive. I use Snail, which is from Stampin' Up. And I made sure that the entire back of the plastic piece had adhesive on it so that you couldn't see the adhesive once it went down. And they're sort of wonky. They're not all straight. They're a little bit crooked. And that's sort of what I go for when I'm stacking sentiments on top of each other. I love using the word phrases that Allie does oftentimes to do this exact same thing. So it's a technique that I like doing. My adhesive was giving me a little bit of a problem, so I was struggling with that a little bit. But I got those on there, and I'm just fiddling around to see how many I'm going to use or what it's going to look like. And then I love the chipboard piece that says on streaming on demand. So this is the basic layout. I just need to add my journaling. So I flip it over, and then this is what the back is going to be. So I had printed out a whole bunch of these shows. I just went online and I Googled the shows, and then I picked some that I knew when I cut it down, it would get most of the show. Like on Scandal right there, you can see like I trimmed off a little bit of the S and a little bit of the L, but I specifically wanted them this size. So I'm not going to back these with any cardstock. I'm just going to put them flat down, but I wanted to do some more of the shows and include some of the shows that like my kids watch. So like Liv and Maddie, that's something my girls watch. Kids Baking Channel is something that we sort of all watch together, but my kids really like it, that kind of thing. So I'm not going to do any journaling on this side. I just wanted to include more of the shows that we watched. The only one I wasn't able to include was, you can see Smallville right there on the side. And that was really because a lot of the shows my husband and I watch, I already had down there. So I just didn't include that one. So you can see I'm just adding some of that designer paper from the front so that the front and the back tie in. And because this is a 9x12 size, you can see there's not a lot of space other than just attaching these down in this grid form, and then that will be fine. I'll add my journaling on the other side, and I'll talk about the shows here on this side too, and then it'll be one layout that will be inserted into my Project Life album. And the way that I do Project Life is by the week. So I do a 12x12 album. I do my pages by the week. So each week I have a layout. I use Design A. And so I have a double layout for each week and the photos. And then anything extra that I do just gets sandwiched in between those weeks. I've done that for many years. It's what works for me. It's what I feel most comfortable doing. So I just continue to do it. I'm basically taking photos every day. I love taking photos, and I don't very often come across a week or days that I'm not taking photos. So it works. So I'm just adding these, and again, they're not perfect. If you look at the grid, it's not, I didn't measure anything. I just did it by eyeballing what I thought looked good, and that's oftentimes what I do. I try not to get caught up in everything being so perfect, even though it's a little bit of a struggle for me. I do like things to be lined up, and look nice, right? So here is the back side of that, and then here's the front side, and I just need to add my journaling. So I need to start thinking about how I'm gonna do that. I like to do my journaling on the computer. It's just what I've done the last couple years, and it's what works for me. I have not always done my journaling on the computer. Were many years that I just hand wrote my journaling because honestly, it's just easier in that you can just get it done. However, I do like typing my journaling because I feel like I can get more of my story in when I'm typing and I can think more about what I want to say. So I wanted my journaling to go right here, and you can see that it is a little bit too big. So I'm just thinking, do I need to go back and retype it and resize it, or can I make it work? What could I do? And so that's what I'm kind of thinking about. What I decide to do is just take off the last paragraph and not include it. I end up just not including it. So honestly, I struggled a little bit with this layout. I really wanted to make this layout, and I was excited to tell this story. It's something that I've been wanting to tell for a while, well, since the kit came out. And so I was feeling a little bit, not annoyed, but a little bit, I was just struggling with maybe not having the right layout, and I had wanted to do this diagonal design. Does that ever happen to you? Like where you have an idea and you really want to do it, and then it doesn't work exactly how you want it to, and then it can be a little frustrating. So I didn't want to have to go back and redo my journaling. I really wanted to get it on the page, and then I wanted to be able to move on to another story I wanted to tell with this kit. So I just took off that little bit of journaling, and it's fine. I popped this piece up on some foam, and so that it is up a little bit. And then you can see I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use that journaling, and I just decide not to. I just decide it's totally fine. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to go grab my album so I can put this in my album and show you. I'll grab a 9x12 page protector. That's what I'm off camera doing right now. And then the 9x12 page protectors I get from Allie Edwards, and I use a 12x12 album. So I do have to poke an extra hole in the 9x12 page protector, and you'll see me do that. I just punch an extra hole and then it works fine. And so I'll do that, and then on the page protector within that week, I will add a tab. So you see that I have the Avery Index tab. I accidentally got the wrong size, and I got 1.5 inches instead of the 2-inch Avery tags. So I'm trying to use those up so that I can start using the 2-inch Avery tags again. So here I am flipping through my Project Life album and finding the right week, because I'm going to insert this in the week that I'm currently in. And then I'm just taking that punch and punching a hole in the 9x12 page protector so that it can go in. I always forget though, when I'm using the 9x12, when I'm using any kind of open page protector where there's not pockets, the page protector is always a little bit bigger. So I wish I would have made this. You can see there's a little bit of space right there. I wish I would have made it like 9 inches by like 1/8, and then it would have filled up the page protector a little bit better. But it's okay. I just always forget about that. So I'm adding the Avery Index tab, which is going to be really fun to be able to use the stamp set to stamp on the little tab that goes in there. So I do that. These are the little tabs, and you just pull them out and fold them. And then I will use the stamp to stamp on there, and it was really a really cute stamp. It says review, and then it has like stars on it. So that's what I chose to use. So you can see the TV stamp right there, which is what I did the die cut from. And then here's this little, I'm just figuring out which one I want to use. That one says watched. And then I settle on this one. It says review with the little stars. And I'll just stamp that in. This is Bermuda Bay ink, which is my favorite color, and it coordinates with the page that I did. So I just stamp on either side of that, and then I'm going to slip it in the tab. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching my video and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this style of video, and I'm very excited to join in on the Story Kit Crush for Watched, and I hope I'll link a couple other people who are doing this, so I hope you'll go check out their videos and be inspired, and I will continue to do these kind of videos and join in. So thanks, guys so much for hanging out with me today and watching my videos. Here are 2 other of my most recent videos. I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will catch you in my next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.